to Q 2015. I'm Chris Walsh from the ITM, and today we are chatting with Jennie Magiera, who is one of our keynotes. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, is this your first time at Q?
It is. If I had my badge on right now, I have the label first time attending.
First timer.
Very proud of that.
That's really awesome. And of course, you're melting because you've come from Chicago, where you were frozen, of course.
Yeah, it was 35 when I got on the plane, and then I got off, and it's very warm. And I'm not complaining about it, but my body's a little confused right now.
Yeah, especially we were just at South by Southwest, so
yeah.
Cold, hot. I can see you're totally confused. But
yeah.
Anyway, we're glad that you're here.
Thank
you.
We're
excited to hear your keynote very, very soon. But before we do that, why don't we just tell everyone a little bit about your background. What are you doing these days?
So I'm the Digital Learning Coordinator at the Academy for Urban School Leadership. We're a network of 32 Chicago public schools, all neighborhood, non-charter, union teachers. And our goal is to serve the highest need kids in the city of Chicago. So all but one of our schools are above 90% free and reduced lunch. And we also train teachers to go into these highest need schools and make a difference. So it's one part education, one part just social justice.
That's great. And give us an example of maybe one of the biggest initiatives that you've got going on there.
Yeah, we're really working on student voice and agency. So we're trying to break that mold of 20% time and Genius Hour and saying, what if every hour was Genius Hour? What if 100% of the time was 20% time? And so we're trying to figure out how can we find more organic ways to give our students voice and agency in every aspect of the school day, including their learning environment, how they learn, when they learn. And so we're trying to break free of very siloed methods and find a way to bring them all together, cook them up, and have some fun.
So what's an example?
So we have a lot of learning spaces where the kids are deciding every single day. I work with an amazing teacher named Autumn Laidler. She's a 4th grade math and science teacher, and she has modular furniture, and every day her students submit for the way that her classroom should look, and then they rearrange it and then talk about it and say, this is where you're going to learn this, and this is where you're going to learn that, and it's all based on what the kids want to do.
That's fantastic. Yes, learning spaces is so critical, and yet it's probably the most underappreciated piece of the puzzle. Absolutely. So today, in a little while, you're going to be our keynote. Tell us a little about sort of the message that you're delivering.
Yeah, so for a while when I was doing keynotes and messages, the whole idea was get technology in the classroom, and why should we have technology? But as we're seeing more schools and districts buy technology, it's turned into, what are you going to do with the technology when you have it? Are you using it for good or for evil, or something in between? So the title is Beware the Transformation Trap. And I called it that because a lot of times people bring in innovative devices into their classroom thinking, all right, we got the devices, check. It's going to be engaging because they're cool. And what they forget to ask is, are you auditing yourself every day to ask, is it better? And is this improving things for the kids? Not just test scores, but qualitatively, is this improving the learning environment? And so I definitely fell into that trap when I first had iPads in my classroom. And I want to share some of the stories about that journey and how to audit yourself to make things better.
So give us an example of a story that maybe somebody who has audited themselves successfully and really transformed their learning without falling into that gap.
So an example of failure or success?
I love both. So
all right, well, I'll tell you a failure one first. So I really wanted to embrace flipped classroom when I first got my iPads. This was back in 2010. It was kind of new in the U.S. And as I was starting to do it, I was trying to sync these really amazing, pedagogically fabulous math videos.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I mean, it
was
mind-blowing, TED level.
Of course.
On fractions. And the problem was I didn't really understand how syncing worked on iOS yet. So instead of syncing this mind-blowing fraction video, what I synced to all of my kids' iPads was Hot Tub Time Machine.
Wait. Seriously?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And it was the principal walkthrough day. So my principal's walking in.
My gosh,
and I'm like,
great.
hey, look at this. Look at me. I'm a great teacher. And she looks in and she goes, this doesn't look like math.
I love it.
And it wasn't. And now we know Hot Tub Time Machine was a huge Hollywood smash, so obviously I knew what it was.
It was you, yeah.
It was all me. But I mean, the thing is about that was I was trying so hard to get the logistics. I was trying so hard to do flipped classroom because it was on the internet. When I Googled cool things in technology, it was first. And I was forgetting what was the point. It wasn't about the videos or Hot Tub Time Machine. It wasn't about the syncing, but it was about creating more differentiated and authentic experiences for my kids.
So there's a natural question in here is, wouldn't have that been a lot better with Zaption?
Yes.
Plug.
Good one. Nice. It would have been so much better with Zaption, sadly. Why didn't it exist in 2010? I blame you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I blame Charlie. He was only 15 at the time. So
Oh.
anyhow, so that's a failure.
Yep.
Give us an example of something where it's working, where it's transforming things.
So I'll tell you the second part of that story. So after I failed, dramatically and epically, I was ready to be fired for putting a rated R movie on all of my kids' iPads. But instead what happened...
The kids loved it, by the way.
Oh, they were so excited.
They were all over Twitter.
Well, they were pretty salty because they didn't actually get to watch it. So they were mad about that. But
so they went home that night, Mom, can I watch Hot Tub Time Machine?
Yeah, Miss Magiera said we could watch Hot Tub Time Machine. So we talked about ratings, and they said, because they were really mad. There was like a little mini coup about, you put this on our iPads, and now you're not going to let us have it? That's such a tease. And I talked about ratings and MPAA and why that's not okay. And they said, one of the students asked about freedom of speech. And shouldn't we be allowed to hear anything if people are allowed to say anything? Why are you censoring what we can watch? And how come that's legal? So it went into a whole social, not social justice, but maybe like... social studies unit about movie ratings, why they have levels of where you can go, why kids are not allowed to buy movie tickets, what we're allowed to show in school. And it came into this whole thing about like what's allowed in school and what's not. And the kids started writing really amazing persuasive media pieces about it. And it all came out of this failure. And the thing was the technology in it was pretty simple. The only thing we used was the camera on the iPad. We weren't doing anything mind-breaking, but the learning and the thinking was incredible. And it wouldn't have been possible without the iPads. Because we had, well, first of all, we had the failure, but then they were able to like tweet out their videos and get a wider audience. So that, again, did it make it better? Yes. And it was the learning first, technology second.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what is something very tangible? If you had to just boil everything down to one thing that you would want a teacher to do tomorrow, what would that be?
Oh, wow. A tangible thing?
Yeah.
I think that what I would want them to do, so something we do with all of our teachers is to take out a bunch of Post-its or a bunch of paper or marker board and just to write down all their problems of practice. We call it the gripe jam. And they just complain. What are the things that you wish you could change? If you had a magic wand, what would you change about your classroom? And some of the things they complain about are impossible. Like, I hate my grade level partner, Chris. He's terrible. And
I was a great partner. I was fantastic, by the way.
He's so full of himself. I'm just kidding.
That's true.
But some of them are really, it's really hard for me to communicate with my parents because their phone numbers are constantly changing or their phones are being disconnected. And so when we start from that problem of practice and have that gripe jam, it's first of all cathartic, but second of all, then we can see where technology makes sense to solve the problems. And you're starting with the problems of practice and not the technology.
That's great. That's a great way to start. A great message. We're really excited to hear it at Q. When you look out, 5 years, for example, what do you hope will be different in 5 years?
So I get asked this question a lot, and my cop-out answer, but that I actually believe in, is I don't know. But wait, there's more. The reason why I don't know is because I couldn't have predicted where we are right now 5 years ago. And what I'm really hoping is that things are going to change so epically and at such a pace, because it has been in the past 5 years, that we can't predict where it's going. That it's going to be on a level or a plane that we have yet to really envision, where we didn't realize that that could be a possibility. I want to break through what we envision as possible and find new opportunities. What I do hope happens in 5 years, though, is we're still talking about students and learning. No matter what the ways that that's happening is and the ways that that's being elevated beyond our comprehension as a, circa 2015, I hope it's still about students and I still hope it's about learning.
And I think that's a great segue for Q as well. As you know, Q has a new logo and has dropped actually computer using educators,
Yeah.
right? So it's just Q, powerful learning, because I think that's what we found here over the years, that really these are the innovators of not technology use, but of learning with whatever tool makes a difference. And so I think it's a perfect message for everybody here, and we're really excited to hear your keynote in just a little while.
Thank you.
Thanks
I'm
for
excited.
dropping by, and come back again.
Yeah, I'll be better. I'll dress better and be less svelte and sweaty.
Svelte. Excellent. Excellent. You heard it here first. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. For everybody here at the Q Conference in 2015, I'm Chris Walsh with ITM Live. We'll see you soon.
Looking for more great ideas? check out infiniteThinking.org to catch all previous episodes, as well as links to everything featured in this show. And if you've got mad love for the ITM, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter and Facebook. And remember, you are the Infinite Thinking Machine.
I am the Infinite Thinking Machine.